everybody, Rochelle here from Quebec, CICHLID. Today I'm going to be talking to you about my favorite aquatic plant, the Anubias. I love this plant particularly because you can put it in your aquascapes or in the African cichlid aquarium. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this video. Before we get started, I want to take a moment to invite you to subscribe to the channel. I post plenty of fishy videos and, well, fish related videos because this is about plants. But definitely subscribe and make sure not to miss a single video. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rochelle and I own a local fish store in Terrebonne, Quebec that is right outside of Montreal. My place is huge, so if ever you're around, don't hesitate to stop by and check it out. So back to our plant business. Anubias is an aquatic plant that originates in Africa. It's one of the most popular plants in the aquarium trade because it's easy and flat out gorgeous. Its body consists of a rhizome, which is like a tree trunk from which sprouts out roots and stems. At the end of these stems are large green leaves. You may have noticed at your local fish store that there are many different kinds of Anubias. We differentiate the plants by stem-to-leaf ratio, stem-to-leaf size, leaf shape, rhizome color. For example, Anubias barteri, variation barteri, has a long stem and a long round leaf. Anubias heterophilia has a long stem and long pointy leaf and black and red rhizome. Anubias nana has a small stem and leaves. And even though many of them are different, they still are kind of similar, and you might find one that's badly identified. For instance, I have Barteri and Caladifolia often at the store, and they're pretty similar, and most people honestly don't care about what species they are. Of course, I care because I'm kind of a nerd, but if you're not, honestly, that is fine by you. You like Anubias, you like that one, just pick whichever you like. That's with the plant species that were originating in Africa. There are also those that were developed in a lab by scientists to find specific shapes and sizes because the 25,000 in the wild, that's not enough, right? So one of my favorite is Anubias SP Petite, which is actually the most popular at my shop, probably because I'm always pushing it because it's one of my favorites. So maybe that had a little something to do with it. Anyways, it was developed by Tropica, which is a brand, and it's even tinier than the Anubias nana. So it's the perfect candidate for a nano tank such as the one you are seeing now, which is my tank, my Flex 15-gallon tank that I will showcase in another video if you guys are interested. But I'm really waiting for it to kind of, settle and get nice, because at the moment it's kind of patchy. Certain plants need specific pH, GH, KH values, but not the Anubias. This plant can even thrive in a brackish tank. It's especially popular in the African cichlid tank since our pH is high and we often don't have fancy lamps that are fabricated for a planted tank. As for light requirements, this plant is happier in lower light. So just put it in your toilet bowl and it'll be super happy. I'm just kidding, don't do that. If you have a strong lighting ramp in your tank, let's say for plants or whatnot, either lower the intensity or place the Anubias in the shadier part of the aquarium, so not directly under the lamp, like right on top of the tank. Anubias, they don't need fertilizer to thrive. They will happily grow using the nitrate and phosphate from your fish waste. If you dose CO2 and fertilizers in your tank for the other plants in your aquarium, well, your Anubias will happily use that as well. Certain products such as Tropica Specialized Fertilizer or Flourish Excel are used to reduce green spot algae in the aquarium and most algae, but especially the green spot one. Green spot algae can become a nuisance for these slow-growing plants, and these products are much appreciated to keep them lush and spotless. If you're not using fertilizers and your plants show signs of deficiency such as yellowing or whitening of the leaves, holes in existing leaves, you're probably going to have to give them the occasional supplement. As for supplements, often what the Anubias will be lacking is iron. You can get just Flourish Iron, supplement that once in a while. You'll notice it if the new leaves are less lush and green. That's because in the wild, most Anubias live in very high iron content water. But technically it should be fine just in your tank like that, but just so you know, if ever you have a problem, you can try that out. Just really make sure to follow the dosage that is on the bottle. You don't want to screw that up. Anubias feed in the water column, and they don't necessarily get all their nutrients from their roots. So therefore, you should avoid using fertilizer tabs for these plants. I mean, you can use them, you're just wasting them and probably polluting your tank. So how to plant Anubias? Trick question. You don't plant Anubias. You attach them to a rock or decoration in your aquarium. Never ever take the rhizome and plant it in your substrate. You can just rot it like that. You can either use fishing line, nylon thread, or plant glue to attach that plant, whatever is lying around basically. If you are using string, keep in mind that these plant roots will eventually grow and envelop the decoration. So the plant will hold by itself and you'll be able to get rid of that string in the long run. If you're using string at the beginning, it's fine. Just chop it off when it's done. I'm personally a fan of plant glue. That's what I used in this aquarium. I just glued them directly on the rhizome and glued it directly to the rock. Simple as that. How to propagate Anubias. Well, this is an easy plant to propagate. When the rhizome is big enough, just cut it with a clean, sharp blade. Make sure to leave 3 or 4 leaves on both ends to make sure that the plant is healthy, along with some roots. Sometimes this plant's rhizome will split, making a Y shape. In this case, the plant is practically begging you to propagate it and share it with your friends. Okay, this is an easy plant, but minor issues can occur. The most popular being algae. Since this plant is slow growing, it is prone to algae. If this is the case, either get an algae eater to keep your plants algae free or just remove it yourself. If it's green spot algae, you might have to add certain products to get rid of this, such as Flourish Excel, as I mentioned earlier. This will usually help you out, or just often I just cut off the most affected leaves. I am not that patient in my life. I'm trying to work on that, but at the moment I am not. So leaving leaves unattended can suffocate the plant. So if you did not remove the green spot algae or the algae or whatever is on the plant and you leave it unattended, that can suffocate the plant. The plant feeds by photosynthesis, and the algae will literally block the plant's access to its food, which is the sun. Photosynthesis is when the plants use the sun to feed themselves. Anyways, so don't let algae get out of control. Rhizome rot is another problem that can occur for many reasons. The most common reason is that the rhizome was planted at one point and started to rot. The rhizome, it should never be planted, as I mentioned many times. So if this happens to you, just chop off the rotting end. Losing leaves is very common when you first buy your plant. Most Anubias suppliers will grow plants practically submerged. By most, I mean pretty much all. So even in the wild, this plant grows partially submerged, meaning that the leaves are sticking out. But don't worry, this is an aquatic plant. It can live and thrive fully in the water. So once it's fully submerged for the first time in its new environment, it will stress out and might lose some leaves. So even if the person you bought it from had it submerged for a long time, the change in water parameters and lighting can stress out the plant and it might lose a leaf or two. If this happens, well, don't worry, simply remove the dead leaves and give your plant some love. Eventually, it will grow its own leaves that are fully adapted to your home. So I think I covered everything that you need to know. 100%, you don't need to know anything else, just stop your research. So that's it for today. Thank you so much to everyone for watching this video. I hope you liked it. So what is your favorite Anubias variety? Tell me in the comment section. Mine is obviously the petite, but for the African cichlid aquarium, I like getting the broadleaf. If ever you can get your greedy hands on a broadleaf Anubias, those are lovely. Short stem with gigantic leaves. Well, medium-sized stem. If it hasn't been done yet, I want you to take a moment to subscribe to my channel to make sure not to miss a single video. If you want more fishy content in between my videos, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, I even have a TikTok that I'm trying out. It's not going very well, so definitely follow me there because it's kind of pathetic. But anyways, the links are all in the video description and on the screen. If you like this fabulous CICHLID Geek t-shirt, I also have FISHY available. For those of you following my videos, my FISHY is still lost. So I'll eventually find that one to show you. But until then, this is what I'm wearing. So you can get it in my Teespring store, and the shirts you get really encourage me to continue doing what it is I'm doing. So thank you to everyone who supports me in my Teespring store, in my YouTube channel, in my actual physical store here in Terrebonne, Quebec, that's open to the public. So thank you to all of you, and thank you to everyone for tuning in. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.